Okay, so today we got one that we're gonna do. We're gonna remove this original folding step that the RV manufacturer had installed. These 4 bolts that go through here, there's carriage bolts, 4 of them, through the side. We're gonna leave this bent bracket because it's actually welded on the other end. I don't wanna have to cut anything off really. So we're gonna take the 4 bolts out of the step and get this step out of here. And now what he's decided to go with is one of these Lippert Solid Steps. This is very popular in new units. A lot of people are, if they have to change their step, they're going this way. So we're going to install one of these today. What we're going to do is we're going to remove the step. We're going to remove the threshold plate that goes at the bottom of the door right here. And then we're going to mount the step as per the instructions and go from there. This is the instructions we got. It was a print-off copy, so we can't really see the pictures all so well. These are the bolts that also came in the package for mounting the step down. They say to open the RV door and measure the inside of the door frame, and then the correct size of the solid step will be nearest the even number rounded up. So example, right there, 25 and 5/16 round up to 26. So like I said, what we're doing so far is we're removing the old step and then we're going to mount the new one. Okay, so we got the old step out. We got what Lippert calls in the instructions the step threshold transition piece, which is like a transition molding that goes on the bottom of the inside of the door. Now I've actually set the step up against the trailer where it should go, and then extended the legs, pulling out the pin and lengthening the inner leg. Now that it's sitting in its spot, we're going to put a couple of screws in the slotted holes and then line it up and adjust for the catches on the interior. So when you're putting this on, you want to be sure that this piece isn't flat like this. It actually folds underneath. And then when you put your bolts in, they go through the top and in through the bracket. So then when you get it up against the trailer where it belongs, you just got to measure from here to here to be sure that it's the same distance on both sides. So because we're going through lino and not laminate, they say to use these type screws, which is an 8mm bit, instead of these ones which have a self-tapping, which would go through laminate or hardwood if it had it. Now that I have these 2 screws in place, we're going to flip up the step, lock it into place, adjust the catches, and then finish putting the rest of the screws in. Alright, so we got a couple screws put in it here. We got it flipped up and locked inside the door via the latches on either side. Now when it comes up, it actually rubs on this side, and if you take a look real quick, it's actually got a bit of a gap on this side here. So what I'm going to do is loosen those bolts, and in the instructions it doesn't give you a size, but those are actually 3/8. So what I'm going to do is just loosen all 4 of them off, shift it over so that it's in the center, and then tighten them back up. Be super careful when you tighten these bolts down. They're only in thin metal, so they actually will strip out really easy. Just snug them up. That's all you have to do. There's 4 of them. It's not really going to go anywhere. The next step is to finish installing the plate into the floor. So we're going to put another 8 fasteners in and make sure that she's not going to go anywhere. And then that's pretty much it. Alright, so once all the fasteners are in, holding this step, just fold her down. And because I already put my legs down, she's sitting nice and level. Then the last thing is to install a couple of these little caps over the bolt holes where you initially put the bolts through. And that's it. She's done. Probably took in total about a half an hour. Alright, here it is again. This is just the Lippert version. There is a couple of other versions out there. That's what it looks like with the door closed. It actually fits in underneath the door, nice and snugly like, with the doors closed and the step is all the way out. So when you're traveling, you just open the door up. And to fold them up, you can put the legs down, which might be a better way to go, but in this case we have lots of room. So we're going to just fold it up inside of here, and then these little latches will grab onto the door on either side, and now she's in place. All you got to do Just close your entry door. Your steps are totally gone out of the way. One of the other things I did see online when I was looking at buying a set of steps like this for this customer was you can actually get a lock box that will fit inside the step opening, so at least then you can reuse that empty space now. As far as I can see, they were you know, 250 bucks, something like that, in Canada anyway. And then that would probably only be, you know, a 20-minute, half an hour installation. All in total, for myself, it took about an hour to get done. Had a couple little minor issues with it. Somebody had over-tightened the screws to the locking mechanism, so when we went to unlatch it, the whole thing shifted side to side as you pulled on the handle, so I actually had to move the mechanism from where it was originally installed here and here up to the next set of holes so that it could actually get tight. The only other option, if you wanted it here with stripped holes, would be to put in bolts. These are just self-tapping screws, so just snugged them up. All of them are good now, so all we have to do to get the step in the out position is make sure the door is all the way open so that when it folds down it doesn't catch on the door itself, and pull this latch up or down however you want, and then the whole step falls forward toward you, lands on the ground. If you have uneven ground, you can adjust these legs. There's a pin right here that you just pop out, and then the leg slides up and down, and then you pick whichever hole it is that you want it to be in. Like I said, it took me about an hour because of a couple little complications. Next one I do probably take even less time, but they're a pretty good step. They're actually quite solid, really easy to use. These ones sometimes get really difficult to pull in and out unless you lubricate them quite often, and this one was actually bent, so it was impossible to get it to open. I mean, with a couple big long bars you might be able to, but they decided to switch it up to this, and we'll go from there.